the Frigo Vert started as a QPIRG working group. And it was sort of, you would place an order, and once a week or every 2 weeks there'd be a box of organic food that you could come and pick up. And that was sort of such a successful project that eventually QPIRG, along with the student union, and there was others on campus that helped fund it, basically supported the Frigo Vert, establishing a permanent location and a permanent food co-op, so that they would have a shop that students could go in and drop in, and that wouldn't be sort of gouging them. I mean, this was the late 90s. The sort of health food scene was still fairly new, and generally you needed to have a lot of money to buy organic food. And so this was a real way that we could make healthy organic food accessible to students by creating this student-run nonprofit. And I think this is an idea that spun out later into the book co-op, and I was just reading in the link right now. There's talk about establishing a student-run daycare, but it was ultimately the same philosophy, that when students run it for ourselves and for our own interests, we can save on costs and make things more accessible. So that was the story of the Frigo Vert. And as for the People's Potato, well, after the campaign against Marriott, we started talking about, well, what are the alternatives to corporate-run food service on campus? And we started talking about, well, wouldn't it be amazing if we, the student union, could use the resources that we have to provide an alternative? And I think we took some of our inspiration from the Black Panther Party, and how the kind of social programs, like breakfast programs that they established back in the 60s and 70s, and then used those as a place for political organizing. So we saw this as a real opportunity, both to provide an amazing service for students, but also to create a space that was politicized, that we could then use to talk to students about political issues and sort of mobilize, and also as a living testament to what can be achieved when students get together and organize. So, and the People's Potato began as a very shoestring sort of affair. The student union committed a small bit of our budget to sort of get it off the ground. But for the most part, at the beginning, we relied on donations. So, the guy that we had hired as our coordinator, Zev Tiefenbach, was really great at sort of, contacting different organizations that maybe had food that they could donate. And he coordinated all those donations, and then, coordinated the volunteers to prepare the food. We initially didn't have any space from the university, and we began by serving in the basement of Reggie's, the student bar. But then once that began and was such a success, and we started to see these giant lineups every day coming out for this delicious food, we then started thinking, well, we have to now make this into an institution here at Concordia. And then that led us to doing sort of two things. One was to organize a referendum campaign for an independent fee levy, so that there would be a sort of an ongoing, sustainable source of funding for the People's Potato. But then secondly, we began our campaign to start to pressure the university to provide us some space for this hugely successful and new student service. And actually that didn't end up being such a difficult sell, because the 7th floor at the time, that cafeteria wasn't using all their space. And so we ended up convincing them to basically give us some of the space up there. And the People's Potato moved up there. We held the referendum. It was approved by a landslide victory. And really out of that, we have this amazing institution that's here at Concordia to this day. And I have to say, when people ask me about the things that our team was able to achieve when I was here, I mean, that was the people's potato is one of the things that I'm most proud of, that our team and that the group of activists that were involved at that point was able to get off the ground, because it was something lasting and it was something meaningful. I mean, we were looking a lot at the issues of rising fees and student poverty being a real concern. And so providing this service, and providing a service that was really healthy, because again, we hear stories about students like living on diets of ramen noodles and Kraft dinner and this kind of stuff that's really unhealthy. So to provide them with a source of free, healthy food on a daily basis, felt like something that was, making a tangible difference in the lives of students. And that's why we got involved in the student union to begin with.